Hi, I'm Richard Maraj, Senior Minister at Unity of Phoenix Spiritual Center, and I want to thank you for visiting our website and for tuning in to today's message. If you feel inspired by today's talk, I really encourage you to make a donation by hitting that button below and making a contribution to this ministry. It'll allow us to continue these messages online and to do the great work we do here at Unity of Phoenix, which is to inspire people to live better lives. So thanks for tuning in, thanks for your support, and we hope to see you at a Sunday real soon.
Morning again, everyone. And a shout out to everybody who tunes in and watches us online. So this guy goes to the doctor, and he says, Doc, there's something really wrong with my leg. And the doctor says, what is it? And he said, well, just put your ear to my thigh and you'll hear it. So the doctor sounds a little weird, but the doctor does it. And he puts his ear by his thigh and he hears, give me $20, $20, I need $20. Can you just give me $20? And the doctor's like, wow, this is like really unusual. And the guy says, Doc, it's even worse than that. Put your ear now by my knee. And the doc puts his ear by his knee, and he hears, I really need $50. $50. Doc, can you lend me $50? And then the doctor says, wow, this is so unusual. It's like nothing I've seen before. The doctor's totally dumbfounded. And the man said, there's even more. Just put your ear by my ankle, and you'll hear. And he puts his ear by his ankle, and he says, and he hears, please, can I have $100? $100. Can you just spare $100? And the doctor is just mind-boggled by all this, and he says, I don't really know what this is. I need to do some research. I need to talk to some of my colleagues. And the guy says, can't you just tell me anything? Like, do you have any idea what's going on? And the doctor said, well, from what I can see, it seems that your leg is broke in 3 places. I know you don't think it's that funny, but I know so many of you will tell it at the office tomorrow. Somebody will. So we just got finished with a 3-week series on the power of no, and how important it is for us to find our no, because saying no can set boundaries. Saying no chooses what's appropriate and what's inappropriate. It says no to unhealthy relationships, no to situations that aren't good for us, no to activities that we really don't have time for, that we sometimes feel like we should say yes to. Finding our no is a powerful thing in finding greater peace, fulfillment, and clarity. And so for the next 3 weeks, we're going to look at finding our yes. How do we find our yes to move our lives towards something greater and better? How do we find our sacred, soulful yes that will bring more fulfillment and happiness into our lives? How many people here have at least one area of your life that you'd like to improve or get better, finances, relationship, or something else? And how many people believe that having clear goals, setting an intention, having a vision, and being clear about what you want is in moving your life forward to something greater? And so today we're going to talk about what it takes to move our lives forward. And we're really going to talk about the energy and the power that drives us, that's behind why we set goals and vision and intentions. And that is that what we have in us is that power is desire. Desire is what moves our lives forward to seek something greater and better. You know, desire is why we set a vision and set goals. Desire is why we ask and seek and knock. You know, desire is really at the root of the impulse for us as spiritual beings to evolve. When you think about it, desire is really the foundation of our will to live and our desire to expand and to improve and to live more fulfilling lives. Desire is what drives us to our pleasures of what food we eat, you know, of joy, of self-expression, of sex. It also, desire is at the source of what drives us for achievement and success and even overcoming. So in many ways, desire is the thing that shapes our lives, our experiences, and our relationships. So I want you to think of the desires that you have. What is your deepest heart's desire? What is the ultimate goal and vision that you have for your life? What is the thing that you are currently most yearning for? I mean, what is it that you really want and desire? Mark Epstein, in his book Open Desire, said that desire is a teacher. That if we allow ourselves to immerse ourselves in our desires without guilt or shame or clinging, that we will discover a lot about ourselves and will actually open us to embrace life more fully. Desire is a powerful thing that triggers us to goals, visions, and intentions, and by the law of attraction, as we put those desires out to the universe, we will attract those things and the energy of those things. But there is something in our desire that we really don't think about, that we really don't understand or utilize as consciously as we could, that could attract things even in a greater way. And the aspect of that desire that I'm talking about to help us have better lives is that at the base of every desire, there is some feeling that we want. We want to feel happier. We want to feel better. We want to feel more successful or more fulfilled. Every single goal you could think of or have, underneath it has some feeling that we want to experience or have. If you want to increase the amount of money, we always think it's just about the money, but no, it's actually to feel more prosperous, to feel more secure, to feel more successful. If we want to attract a relationship or improve a relationship, it's because we want to feel more love, feel more intimacy. We want to feel cherished. You know, we want to feel appreciated. We want to feel valued and cared for. You know, if we want a healing in our family, it's because we want to experience peace and harmony and a deeper connection with our loved ones. That everything in your life that you think you're seeking, every single goal you desire, the most powerful thing about it is the feeling that we want to have to create from that. How many people have heard or read the book Desire Map by Danielle Laporte? Anybody? All right. One person, that's good. All right, I feel good about that. And, you know, so her journey kind of began of awakening and looking at things differently. It was on a New Year's Eve. She was there with a friend by the fire, and they decided to set their goals, their intentions for the new year. And, of course, they set their goals and their intentions and then started writing plans and strategies and lists of things to do, and found that in doing that it really didn't use her at all, just writing down these goals. And then she got an idea to take some magic markers and colorful markers and circle the feeling she wanted to get from them. And so she circled freedom, you know, and abundance, and to feel sexy, and to feel connected, and to feel creativity, and to feel true love. You know, and she then started getting really juiced about what her goals were. She got more excited because she was going to create a particular feeling of how she was going to enjoy her life, how she was going to feel about her relationships and her work. You know, and sometimes I don't think we value or understand how powerful our feelings are as a creative force, as a way to attract even greater things. You know, we have all heard that line, you know, in the Bible, as a man thinketh, so is he. We've heard that, right? But that's not all it says. That's all we hear, but that's not what it says. It says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. That we always think that thinking is so powerful, and we don't give as much value to the power of feelings. But it's saying, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And so it's inviting us to utilize the power of our feelings to attract and manifest the things we desire in even greater ways. You know what's really interesting? That they have, with certain studies, they actually show that the heart actually generates the largest electromagnetic field in the body. That the heart actually radiates an electric magnetic energy that is 60 times more than our brain waves. Our feelings, our heart, is more powerful than we realize. It is a creative, generative, magnetic energy and tool that we have that we don't always use as fully. So could you imagine in terms of goals, if we got clear about what we wanted to feel first before we set our goals? If we got clear about the specific feelings that we want to experience in our relationship and our work before we really got down to do our strategizing and our planning. You know, switching from the thing to the feeling that we want to create literally helps us live a life of greater clarity and awareness. And we actually are more conscious, and we are more intentional and purposeful in the way that we live. And what happens is the journey actually becomes more satisfying. It actually kind of becomes more fulfilling moment by moment as we move along the path towards a thing we want, and not just trying to hit the payoff or just waiting for the thing to be achieved. Abraham Hicks says this: whenever you start guiding yourself by caring about how you feel, you start guiding yourself back into the stream of source energy. And that's where your clarity is. That's where your joy is. That's where your flexibility is. That's where your balance is. That's where good ideas come from. That's where all good stuff is accessed from. So this morning, we're going to look at how do we find our yes, and realizing that desire is the thing that points us to our yes, to a better and more fulfilling life. And it is also the desire of how we want to feel that magnifies and magnetizes our ability to attract a better experience in life. So here are the things we need to do. The first one with our desires and feelings is to get clear about what we want. Get clear about what it is we want to feel. That sounds so simple and easy, doesn't it? Just get clear about what you want. Get clear about what you feel. But you know what? Most people don't know what they want, and they aren't clear about the things that they actually desire. And there are many things that kind of stop us from being as clear and knowing what we want. One of them is we please people. We are so into pleasing people and doing what others expect, including our family members and those close to us, that we kind of disconnect and don't really know exactly what it is we want or even want to own it. Sometimes we have been hurt badly, like if we've gotten our heart broken so badly that we shut our hearts down and we numb out and we don't want to feel anything because we don't want to feel hurt. Sometimes we keep shutting our heart down and not doing what honors us. We end up slipping in and get stuck into despair and hopelessness, thinking life ain't going to get any better than this. So we don't even let ourselves feel some of those things. And sometimes we think feeling good stuff and wanting good stuff is like bad. I mean, I've had people say, do you think it's wrong for me to want to have $1 million? Is that unspiritual? Is it selfish? Is it greedy? We actually feel kind of guilty about wanting too much. We think there's something bad about it. You know, I think sometimes we have had things not go well for so long. Sometimes too much love, like we push away good feelings that we want. We're so not accustomed to having that much success or greatness or responsibility or love or fulfillment that when it does come, we don't know how to handle it all. And sometimes we consciously push, and sometimes unconsciously push away all the good it is that we're seeking. And so this idea of, hey, just get clear about what you want isn't as simple. Because sometimes we need to retrain and reconnect ourselves with what it is we want to feel, what it is we want to experience, and whether it's in a job or in any aspect of our lives. And so we need to learn how to practice reconnecting with our feelings. Like, so when you woke up this morning, how'd you feel? Or here's a better question. When you wake up in the morning, how would you like to feel? How would you like to feel when you get ready? How would you like to feel on your drive to work? How would you like to feel when you get into your office? How would you like to feel during that important business meeting? You know, how would you like to feel, you know, when you write your checks to pay all of your bills? How would you like to feel about yourself? How would you like to feel about your family or in your relationships? How would you like to feel about life itself? How would you like to feel at the end of every day? You know, we need to take time to connect with what we really feel and what it is we actually want to feel. And it takes a bit of practice to learn how to open up to our feelings and get clear about what it is we want. So don't expect this to happen overnight. But I do believe it is a powerful thing that is worthy of our practicing it and to reconnect with it, because feelings will attract more of the things that make us feel in that way. So the second one is that when we begin to do this, we begin to realize that there are going to be changes, that things are going to be shaken up a little bit, and it'll free us and liberate us from certain things. I mean, when we make how we feel and the things we want to feel a top priority in our lives, we will change. Our relationships will change. You know, our work might change. What we spend our money on might change. How we earn our money might change. Because the fact is, when we begin to be more true to ourselves and connect with how we want to feel, things might look a little more different. And that's a good and important thing. I think I mentioned before that my sister Ariane was pursuing her PhD for years. I have a brother who's got a PhD, another sister who's got a PhD. She's working her PhD. And then a couple of years ago, she realized she don't want a PhD. She decided to make a commitment to her life to be more joyful in every area of her life. And that was not bringing her joy. It was bringing her stress and pressure, and she didn't want to do it. And she didn't care about my brother and my sister had a PhD. She just cared about herself being more joyful. And you know what? It gave her space and time to do more inner healing, which she really wanted to do, was to feel more whole and more at peace. You know, she's been doing art and some other things and traveling, and it has really changed her life. I know a guy who's making some good money doing a job, but he didn't really love it. And he started pursuing a job in production and performance, and it doesn't pay well, and it's hard and challenging, and there's a lot of pressure. But you know what? He's thrilled to be doing it because that's what makes him feel fulfilled. That's what makes him feel excited. So what's one thing in your life you've been chasing, that you've been working on, that you know that's not really you? That you know that it might be time to let go, or time to change, or time for you to release and to liberate yourself from. And it comes down to, is it making you feel what you really want to feel? And then the third one is you got to be flexible and adaptable. One of the things about desire, it's a good thing. Desire whatever you want with all your heart. To do whatever you want with all your heart, to feel whatever you want with all your heart. But here's the little catch. Don't be attached to getting it. You know, the two words that we think are paradoxical and they don't belong together is desire and surrender. But the fact is they're two aspects of the very same creative process. You know, Julia Cameron, who wrote The Artist's Way, said this: the creative process is a process of surrender, not control. That it's important to desire things, but then you've got to surrender and let it go. It's called the art of allowing. It's called trusting the universe. It's called believing and knowing God has a plan for your life and being open to receive it and to let go of any stress and resistance that might stop your greatest good from coming to you. And you got to be willing to be flexible. You know, we got to be willing to be open. And sometimes we got to realize that the packaging of that thing that we desire might come in a different way. You know what we tend to do a lot? We are so clear of exactly what we want that when it doesn't come in exactly the form, we write it off immediately. We rush to judgment. That's not good. That'll never work. Not good. Not a match. And so she tells this story about this woman who had a desire to feel adventurous and to feel love, to feel energized, and to feel prospered. And so she was trying to meet Mr. Right. And of course, her list included he had to be very good looking, very well educated, be an intellectual match, be very athletic. She liked biking. They wanted to bike together, and to love to travel. So the next week, she goes to a friend's barbecue and meets a guy that she's intrigued with and has good energy and presence. But as you know, he's not quite as good looking as she'd hoped. And in fact, he was a little bit chubby and didn't seem like he's in good shape. But she kind of let that go for a second. And then she learned that he was a writer and he was employed, but he didn't go to college. And immediately she wondered what her brother would think about that. And so they're not matching up, but she's noticing she's feeling kind of jazzed. It's feeling kind of good, but the picture's kind of not matching up. So she decides and agrees to go out on a first date with the guy. So he takes her to a poetry reading in a seedy part of town. And then he takes her to Ethiopian food, which she's never had before. And then she realizes, you know, and she's checking in with her resistance because she knows what she wants to feel, that she notices, that this is a bit of an adventure right in her own town. That he is kind of opening her world to things that she hadn't experienced before. So they get to know each other more, they're laughing, they're having a good time, and then he reveals that he's afraid of flying and he never wants to go on an airplane. And immediately she's thinking, what about my honeymoon that I want to have in Paris? Or I want to go to Chile to visit my dear friend. And so she's thinking, no flights, a little chubby, out of shape, no alma mater. This thing's not going to work. But then she checks in. What's the feeling? And she realized she feels adventure. She feels energized. She feels love. She feels prosperous with him. And so they end up having a backyard wedding. And for their honeymoon, they did a road trip. And so years ago, she would have written it off instantly. And the point is, when she's connected with the feeling, we let the outer packaging, it might look different. You know, so many of us shoot for the perfect picture. And I'll tell you, I know people who have the perfect picture of a life, but inside it isn't as fulfilling. And there's nothing with wanting everything you want. There's nothing wrong with that. But the most important thing we got to realize is what's going on in here. How does it make us feel? How connected, how alive, how joyful, how curious, how playful. It's those feelings that matter more than whatever the picture we think we might have to have in order to be happy. So we just need to let go of some of the rigidity and just let go of our appearance of the outer and to check how's it feeling on the inner. And then the final thing is to develop a level of core feelings that are the dominant feelings that you want to experience in your life. And so if you had to pick 4 feelings that would really, represent the quality of life that you would really live and be happy with, what would be those 4? So I'm going to read you Danielle's. These are her 4 core feelings that she wants to feel every day. Divinely feminine, connected, innovative, and affluent. The previous lady heard was adventurous, love, energized, prospering. Mine are joyful, inspired, deeply grateful, and totally loved. So what are the ones that you want to feel? What are feelings that would be anchor feelings that you want to experience every single day of your life, to be a part of your character, to be a part of how you are known and what you feel and experience with your incredible gift of life? Sometimes we think we have to get the thing first, then we're going to feel great about it. Get the achievement, then we'll feel happy. Get the relationship, then we'll feel love. I say pick what you want to feel and practice it now. We think we can't control our feelings. Yes, we can. In the prosperity class, we practice feeling prosperous every single class because feelings attract. They're not just the end result of what happened. It is actually a causative energy that we feel at the beginning and can cultivate. Then it will attract even more. So let's practice feeling stuff. I want you to feel what I say. Right now, I want you to feel lazy. That went better than my opening joke. Okay? I want you to feel lazy. What does lazy feel like? Feel lazy. Now I want you to feel energized. Feel energized. Feel your body energized, your heart, your mind energized. Now I want you to feel peaceful. What does peaceful feel like for you? And finally, I want you to feel confident. What does confident feel like for you? Feel confident. See, every one of us has the power to cultivate the feelings that we desire. And the more we cultivate it, the more we make it real, guess what? We attract more things that make us feel that exact way. So what are your 4 feelings? Is it to feel exhilaration? Is it to feel brilliant? Is it to feel thankful or positive or creative or abundance? It's unlimited what you could feel, but what would be your 4 faves that would anchor and ground your life to the quality of life that is as fulfilling as you could imagine? The second thing about your 4 anchored things is to do little things, small little acts that make you feel the feeling. So Danielle likes to feel divinely feminine, and so here are some things she does to make herself do that, small little acts. She says that sometimes she will wear a skirt instead of yoga pants. It helps. And the second one is she'll read sometimes a chapter from the book Women Who Run with Wolves. She will also sometimes get herself a concert ticket. She would buy herself some tickets to the Alanis Morissette concert. And then she would go to an expensive furniture store and pick the most expensive furniture she could imagine herself having and sit there for a conspicuously inappropriate amount of time. So what are some small, deliberate actions that would inspire you to feel the feeling, and even seeking environments that would make you feel the kind of feeling you want to have? And so if it was about being generous, what would make you feel generous? Of helping someone or buying someone a meal or doing something anonymously for someone. Or if it is to feel positive or joyful, whatever it is, choosing small acts that make you feel that way is a powerful thing. Another good way to use your 4 core desired feelings is when things aren't going that well. And let's say you got in an argument, or let's say something really didn't go well. You got an unexpected bill, or you're having a hard time in conflict at work. She said that in the middle of it, remember one of your core feelings. And even if for a second I say, I desire to feel joyful. Even if it's not in this moment, I desire to feel joyful. And then be present to what's going on. But you said just doing that actually slips in the possibility of optimism and good things. And it actually stops us from the negative role of complaining about how horrible things are. It actually helps stop that. And it actually opens us to get back to a more dominant way, which are the 4 feelings that we would like to experience. The more we connect with our feelings, our core feelings, the more we collaborate with the cosmos. The more we connect with our higher self, the more we connect with the divine intelligence that is working together to make everything work in a greater and better way. It helps us fulfill and realize the great gifts we came to give and to share the world. It blesses other people, and it really makes things so much lighter and brighter for ourselves. Sometimes, life isn't easy, but sometimes we make it harder than it needs to be. Do you know you bringing more joy and happiness to yourself is the best thing you could do for this world? And sometimes we're like putting our light under a bushel basket by not honoring our feelings, by not celebrating them and actively working to express them. Because when we do, we actually let our light shine, and it blesses us and it blesses all others. If we want our lives to get better, we need to find our yes. And the way to find our yes is to look at what you desire. And the most important desire to get clear about and to practice, and to cultivate the most is how you want to feel. So this week, your assignment, get clear on what the feelings you want to feel. Notice the liberation and changes that will come. Be flexible and adaptable and practice your feelings. Cultivate them. Do little things that'll make them grow. And I guarantee you, it'll rock your world. It'll change your life. And it will make things better and better and better. God bless you all.